Hello everyone, welcome back to the 5 Minute Tech channel. In this series, we'll be talking about microservices, and the first video in this series is microservice elements, which are basically the components that make up the microservices, and we'll be talking in detail about them. What are services? Service is a software that performs the automated tasks, responds to hardware events, or listens to the data requests from other software and probably communicates the responses to them. It is independently deployable component, it is interoperable, and also it is message based communication, and some one of the implementation can be through a service oriented architecture. Let's understand what is microservices. Microservices, as per definition from AWS site, is our architecture or organizational approach to software development, where software is composed of small independent services, and they communicate over well-defined APIs. These services are very small and self-contained. So what are the service microservice elements? These are basically the components which when come together form the microservices. For example, remote procedure call, messaging, data exchange format, the contracts or the APIs, the service registry, and if we have configured circuit breakers, we should have a gateway. We should implement authorization, authentication, have access token through the communication. They should be load balanced and also be available, and that we have to get it monitored, do regular health check, do a proper logging, and even if required we can do a rate limiting on it and proper hosting. So first one is the remote procedure invocation, in which we have a request reply system in place between different services. It could be synchronous or asynchronous based on the requirement, and the different ways in which you can achieve it is through your REST, SOAP, or a gRPC. Next we have messaging and data exchange format. The message or the event is relayed through a broker or a channel, to which can be published and we can subscribe to it. It is a loosely coupled way of interaction between the services, and some of the ways which we can implement is through Kafka or RabbitMQ. The format of data exchange between the services most probably is in the form of XML or a JSON, YAML, or even in a very compact binary format. The next is APIs and contracts. So each of the service exposes a contract. So for example, if we have a cart, it has a calculate price API, and it exposes a publish price for different types of consumers. So different devices, needs, and their specific APIs are exposed through contracts. Next we have service registry. Service registry is something which can be used by the services as for self-registration. It is a location where the services could be discovered by other services. It needs invocation through those endpoints which are configured on the registry, and some of the ways in which some of the implementations that could be done for those service registries through Consul, Eureka, or Zookeeper. Next we have circuit breakers. So in certain cases what we get services not responding. In those cases circuit breaker comes into picture, where service availability or non-availability or network failure due to heavy load is taken care of. We invoke it via proxy, we deviate the call through circuit breaker, and when the things start coming back on track, then we reintroduce the traffic to the main services. It could be implemented through Hystrix and JRugged. Moving on, we have gateway. Now gateway is for accessing individual services by different devices which wants to be getting the data. It's a single entry point, and it's a unified interface. It provides cross-cutting concerns, and it helps in API translation. Some of the API gateway implementations could be done through Ocelot, Zul, Netty, or Finagle. Moving on, next we have some of the important concepts like authorization, authentication, and it being achieved through access token. So this can be implemented through identity and access management, which has a single sign-on. Some of the technologies involved are Kerberos, OpenID, OAuth 2.0, and XAML. It also involves tokens, which are source information about the user. Exchanges the data between the services through these tokens. Next, we have load balancing and availability. Several instances of these services needs to be configured. If you see, we have 3 product instances that can serve the cart service through a round robin depending on the capacity. This reduces the single point. This nullifies the single point of failure by having multiple instances. The next part is monitoring. We need to keep monitoring our services and check their health and do a proper logging, have a metric system in place which lets us know about the load each service is going through, and we can also do certain things like rate limiting to prevent a number of hits which goes into a particular service. This could be achieved through your Kibana, Grafana, or Splunk. Last but not the least, we have hosting. We do hosting through containers, orchestrations, and continuous delivery is configured. Packaging the microservices with its dependencies in a container image can be done through Docker. Multiple containers or machines needs to be in place, and that could be orchestrated through your Kubernetes, Mesos, or Docker form. And all these can be done continuously delivered through tools like Jenkins, etc. That was the basic information on the microservice elements. Hope this session was informative. If you like the video, please press like and subscribe to the 5-Minute Tech channel. Thanks for watching.